TCL. Get in the know. Non-stop Vikings talk. It's Purple Daily on Score North and ScoreNorth.com.
Ooh, Mackey and Judd, Declan, and we're gonna let you guys behind the curtain here on Purple Daily for a moment. And that, much like most NFL teams and the Vikings, they come with their 15 scripted plays, right? Like, you know that you're going to go in. You've
game plan.
You've game plan. You've prepped. And you go in with your game plan and your scripted plays. And sometimes something happens right before the game, or like, oh man, the opposing team's best pass rusher is out or something, right? And then maybe you blow it all up once you get into the actual game itself. Well, that happened with us today. We had our plan. We were going to actually talk about salary cap and how it's going to be no lower than 180 million. And that's an interesting discussion in itself. But some things went down in the quarterback world, and a couple things also were reported, and Judd got some DMs from, let's just say, someone that warrant fleshing out on this episode here. And so we're going to do those things right after we cheers to Corona Hard Seltzer.
Oh, Corona Hard Seltzer.
Cheers to speculation.
It is the fuel of reckless speculation, is Corona Hard Seltzer. Not only is it the only beverage with pure beach vibes, it is the reckless speculation. It's the official sponsor, in my opinion, of reckless speculation.
It is.
Because it has refreshing splashes of fruit flavors, such as tropical lime, mango, cherry, and blackberry lime. Corona Hard Seltzer is a tasty, spiked, sparkling water with a splash of natural fruit flavor that allows you to enjoy the moment. Each can, Corona Hard Seltzer, has 0 carbs, 0 sugar, 90 calories, and is gluten-free. Relax responsibly. Corona Hard Seltzer, spiked sparkling water with natural flavors. Imported by Crown Import, Chicago, Illinois.
So just to tee this up here, okay? So our other show, Mackey and Judd, we also talk some Vikings on that show. We do Write That Down. We do action movie rewinds, et cetera, et cetera. It's just a fun show. You should check it out if you're not checking out our other show on Apple, Spotify, ScoreNorth.com, and YouTube. But that show culminated with this clip today that we're about to play for you.
And if we're making impromptu Write That Down predictions, I can throw one out there right now.
Here we go.
This is out of control right now.
What is happening?
This is out of control.
This started off as just a little reckless speculation among friends, and all of a sudden a Shefty bomb hits.
Yep.
Judd brings private, personal DMs from a listener with information to
the table.
show.
Yeah.
Wow. And now Declan's about to make
we're about to get more Write That Downs the day after Write That Down.
By Monday, Kirk Cousins will be traded to the Denver Broncos.
Oh my God.
I'm doing it.
Oh my God. You just went too far. You just went too far. Hold on. I'm calling 911. I'm calling 911. I don't know what to do. I don't know what else to do.
It's happening.
All right. Okay. The only chaos. It was chaos in the studio.
Okay. How did we get to that point where Declan said confidently Kirk Cousins is going to be a Bronco by Monday?
Yep.
Let's unpack this for a second. All right. So Adam Schefter reporting today, and now it's all over the internet. Carson Wentz has been traded. The quarterback musical chairs game is back up and running. Carson Wentz was traded to the Indianapolis Colts today for a 2021 third-round pick and a 2022 first-round pick, provided he plays at least 75% of the Colts snaps in 2021. If not, I believe it converts back to a second-round pick.
Yep.
So it could be a first-round pick for that contract, and just how putrid he was last year. And Frank Reich says, I can fix it. We can get back to where we were a few years ago with the Eagles. Then, do you have that Pro Football Talk report in front of you, Declan?
Yes, I do.
Okay. Then Declan read this. Go ahead.
The Broncos are interested in trading for a top-tier quarterback, not Carson Wentz. Now, this dropped literally about a half hour before the Carson Wentz trade went down. This wasn't, though, insinuating that the Broncos were in on Carson Wentz. They're in on looking for a quarterback who isn't Carson Wentz. So the Broncos are open to making a deal if they can upgrade at quarterback, but they don't necessarily think all the big names are available or upgrades from Drew Lock. Specifically, the Broncos are not interested in Eagles quarterback Carson Wentz. Palmer confirmed the report that the Broncos will pursue Deshaun Watson if Texans are willing to trade him, and noted the Broncos were interested in Matthew Stafford before the Lions agreed to trade him to the Rams.
Okay, so you said the Broncos were interested in Stafford, right?
Yeah, they were.
So a couple things. So their concept of a top tier quarterback includes Matthew Stafford, if I can connect the dots there, right?
Correct.
Well, who's in that same bin? Our guy Kirk. Who runs the Broncos now?
George Payton.
George Payton, the Vikings' former assistant general manager. Okay. It's all very interesting. Makes some sense.
Mm-hmm.
And then Judd was he was hesitant to bring this to the show. But once that Pro Football Talk report came down, it made a lot more sense. So I'll let Judd go wherever he wants with this tidbit.
So I got a I got a tip from a listener who has inside information among National Football League potential moves, okay? A reckless speculation lifestyle guy, which I believe to be the best lifestyle that one can possibly lead.
I would say yacht rock and reckless speculation are two lifestyles that I personally am proud to be a part of.
Hand in hand. And so I actually shared this with you yesterday, a DM I got saying that there might be some friction among Vikings officials about potentially trading Kirk Cousins. Now, I took this and I thought, interesting.
Grain of salt.
And then it was followed up with a note that the team that appeared to be pursuing Kirk Cousins was George Payton and the Broncos. Again, grain of salt. Makes perfect sense, but I didn't have that next step. And so that was a bit of reckless speculation that I wasn't going to necessarily share because it's interesting, but we really didn't have the pieces to the puzzle. The pieces weren't in place to put the puzzle together. Until today, when that Broncos tip comes out on PFT and reads very much like the author of said tip, knows exactly who the Broncos are pursuing, but was just told to float this, just get this out there. And what it sounds like is that the Vikings might have some disagreement internally where Spielman and Zim might be very into the option of exploring a trade of the QB. And the people that own the team might be saying, but guys, you told us that this QB, when we signed him to a huge contract in March 2018, could win us a Super Bowl. What are you saying? Because we still think that he gives us the best chance. Now, here's the piece of the reckless speculation path that we can't completely go down yet, but probably is going to have to be explored next. Have Spielman and Brzezinski gone to the Cousins camp and said, your cap hit in 2021 is detrimental. In 2022, it has the potential to cripple us. Did they go to them and say, we need to restructure and redo again? And did the Cousins camp say, you know what? We did that last year. You extended us last year. Kirk is very comfortable with this contract. No more extensions for you. At which point, if you're the Vikings and you're in charge of the salary cap, you're going to go into a panic and say, hold on a second, that don't work. And keep in mind, the other fly in the ointment here that we're not talking about is a potential extension to get Danielle Hunter to even show up for training camp. And if you are going to extend him, and here's where Zim possibly signing off on a Cousins trade also makes more sense. If you go to Mike and say, Mike, we got a couple options here. You got a quarterback signed, and he won't restructure, and he's going to cripple our cap. And that's going to mean that Danielle Hunter cannot be extended. Like we're screwed there. Well, Mike's going to say, hold on a second here. That's my defensive end. That's my pride and joy. That's my prized possession.
That's my quarterback.
That's my Ferrari. And so it all makes a lot more sense that George Payton, who also could have played, and we'll never know this, a very big role in Cousins getting to the Vikings, that George Payton could say, I'd like him in Denver, where we desperately need a QB, and the immediate pressure on George is going to be to solve a problem for a team that had John Elway as its chief executive, one of the great quarterbacks of all time, and couldn't solve that problem.
Yeah. This puzzle makes a lot of sense. And I can guarantee you this is not me getting a DM, right? This is just educated speculation, piecing everything together here after this Carson Wentz trade, all right? Do the math on this. We know for a fact that there are at least 4 teams that are out there in the quarterback desert, and they're making offers. They're offering first-round picks. They're knocking on doors. They're making plays for Stafford over here, Watson over there, Wentz over here, right? We know, and there might be more, but we know publicly that the Bears, the Panthers, the Broncos, and the 49ers are all involved in this game of quarterback musical chairs. And the Colts were until they landed Carson Wentz. And again, there's more teams here. The Jets are in this game, but like these are the teams that keep getting reported. Like the Panthers offered the 8th overall pick for Matthew Stafford. We know that according to Adam Schefter. The Broncos, as Declan just read off, were in on Stafford over here. So The Broncos bar for what they want is Matthew Stafford and above, or in and around Matthew Stafford and above. Kirk is definitely in that category for sure. Okay. So we know there are teams that are looking for Kirk Cousins caliber quarterback play to help steady their ship. All right. We also know, like you just said, Judd, that the Vikings have major salary cap problems. The news came out today that the lowest the cap is going to be is $180 million. Let's say it settles in around 180, 181, 82, whatever it is. That's a $16 to $18 million drop from where it was this year. The Vikings they're going to have to cut like $10+ million just to get under the cap. And then they're going to have to cut and restructure and shuffle probably an additional $15 to $20 million to open up spending if they want to bring in like a Joe Thuney or any meaningful free agents. And free agents might not break the bank this offseason like they would in others because everyone's cap is coming down. So I get that. But you have a lot of hacking to do with your salary cap here. So they're looking at the salary cap. They're looking at a 7-9 team, and they're also looking at like creative ways to reshape this to get better and keep their job. So there's just a lot of plates spinning behind the scenes. But if they've come to the conclusion that Kirk Cousins' $45 million cap hit in 2022 is an albatross for them, and they know that, I'll take the Bears off the table because there's no way they would swing a trade with the Bears, but they know that the Broncos with George Payton and the Panthers, who also have Teddy Bridgewater they could send back to you, and Zimmer loves Teddy Bridgewater, right? And the 49ers that have Kyle Shanahan, who loves Kirk Cousins. Like, there are three connections right here you could explore to get out from underneath that cap hit the next 2 years. Mm-hmm. It all makes a ton of sense. I still think the odds-on favorite is that Kirk stays in purple in 2021. Mm-hmm. But now that Carson Wentz trade, I think teams are kind of looking to see what's Carson Wentz going to get. Because whatever Carson Wentz gets, my guy's better than Carson Wentz. Deshaun Watson's better than Carson Wentz. Kirk Cousins better than Carson Wentz.
Sure.
Right? All these guys who are available are better right now than Carson Wentz.
Yep.
So he kind of sets the bar. Stafford set a bar, and then Wentz sets a bar that makes it easier to say, well, if he gets a first-round pick for playing 75% of the snaps, I got a guy that always plays 75% of the snaps. His name is Kirk Cousins.
Yep.
Right?
And guys are going for huge. That's the thing is, this is creating a special predicament that's not going to come along very many times of availability and potential capitalizing on that. But here's the thing with the Vikings. It's all going to come down to, will the people who were basically told Kirk Cousins is going to save us, like he's going to win us a Super Bowl, will they now okay trading him? Because Spielman, to a certain point here, has backed himself into a corner. I could totally see him looking at the market that we're seeing right now with the Stafford trade, the Goff trade, the Wentz trade, and saying, holy cow, this is a great chance. I love draft picks. This guy's cap hit is going to be huge. And now reversing his own course. But then he's got to go to his bosses, who, by the way, for 2 or 3 years, he has sold on Kirk is our guy, and get them. And they are, at the end of the day, the Wilfs are football fans. Like, they are football fans. And we've got a lot of Kirk stands here, right? They are going to be more Kirk stands of, but you told us this. And so now you basically have to get Spielman to explain, yes, I did, but the market has changed in the price of poker. And also, if he can expose George Payton's potential weakness, if George Payton loves Cousins as much as we think that he might, it all comes together to give you a really interesting opportunity. Question is, do you have the people who actually sign the checks who will sign off on that? But if Kirk has flat out told him, I'm done renegotiating my contract is my contract, I don't think it should be that difficult by some point in March to tell the Wilfs, that's the one thing we can't do here. 2022 shapes up as a fiscal disaster.
And think about, there's a lot of people that listen and watch the show. I'm sure you've put together, you've sold your home at some point and you've had to move. And I look at the quarterback market right now to a situation where we could see ourselves selling our home. Probably not for a couple of years, though. Like, we're probably not really in the market. And then you look around the market and you're like, wait a second. The neighbors just got how much for that house?
I'm going through that right now, Phil.
St. Louis Park, it's hot.
It's very hot. I told Dawn, I said, why not? Let's get out of here.
And so you're looking at the neighbors and you're like, what did they just get for that house? if you're in this quarterback market right now, you're thinking, well, I mean, man, if we could hang on to Kirk and keep building this offense and get a left guard, and he's got these cap hits that are going to be detrimental, and so we're probably gonna have to smooth that out. We're probably not ready to sell our Kirk Cousins now. But wait a second. Matthew Stafford went for what?
This is I'm so with you.
I'm sorry. Carson Wentz is going to get a first-round pick and a third if he plays 75% of the snaps.
Who was just who was benched?
Right.
Look, this is so my dream with my house is to one day sell it and walk away and do nothing to it. Like I don't want to do improvements. I want you to buy the house because
Dawn will do all the improvements.
Because you're like,
she does the
we both want
chainsawing
to walk
anyway.
away. We both want to walk away. But the point is, I don't want to fix it. I don't want to have to do a damn thing. I want you to pay me because that's a really nice house and I can improve it or tear it down. I don't care what you do. Okay. With Cousins, imagine selling a Cousins that you don't have to do a thing with. Like this is not about, well, if you can get him to improve, here's the thing. Let's watch him in the fourth quarter next year. And if he leads a bunch of comebacks, I want that Cousins, right? This is walking away.
And then there's the other element too of if you sell your house, you got to know, well, what house am I moving into, right?
Yeah.
Am I going to buy?
Yeah,
am I going to rent? Am I going to get something? Am I going to downsize? Right?
Yeah.
So there's all these discussions too. And all I would say is, even if you don't necessarily know exactly where you're going to live next in this situation, it's not like you're selling a 7,000 square foot mansion. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
If you're the Seahawks and Russell Wilson's, voicing his displeasure on the Dan Patrick show. All right. I'm going to want to know if I'm going to trade Russell Wilson, like, what am I getting here? Kirk Cousins is very good, but Kirk Cousins isn't Russell Wilson or Pat Mahomes or Aaron Rodgers. Like I think people get so afraid, like, oh, this is a pretty good house. Yeah. But like, there's a lot of pretty good houses. Oftentimes they cost way less money.
Because we never have a good house for the most part. Like the Favre house was awesome. It was 2009 though, right? and we got booted. Like we got evicted. We couldn't pay it off. But I'm at a point in my life, no kids, no nothing. I could move into an apartment, which is a Teddy. I could buy a Teddy. A Teddy's fine. It's comfortable. It's heated. Nice carpeting.
And it allows you to spend money in other areas of your life.
Exactly right. So now I can go out to Murray's and Manny's and get steaks. You know why? Because I'm not paying as much for the Teddy. I was going
to say you can go to Thuney's for the steak is where you could go.
I like that too.
Yeah.
But that's exactly it, right? Like Zim doesn't need the quarterback house.
No.
He just doesn't.
So that's how Declan came to predict that by Monday. How do you feel now that I feel like it was a moment of passion there and you made that prediction. Now that you've had a little bit of time to think on it.
One night, write that down, Stan.
We should totally do this. You wake up the next day. What did I just do?
Yeah, I've also been down that road too.
It's light out now. That was a mistake.
I'm still in. I'm still in on this trade. I'm still straight. I still believe that it can happen. Now, Denver wants an upgrade at quarterback. And I know the NFL report also mentioned that they're looking at top tier guys.
That's Kirk.
So Carson Wentz is not a top tier guy. I do think Kirk Cousins is in a tier above Carson Wentz.
For sure.
He's not, and Kirk, though, is not in the top tier. But with George Payton there, start to connect these dots. It makes sense. It totally makes sense. And when guys like Stafford and Goff and Carson Wentz,
Koivu,
Russell Wilson,
Palmerville
says he's unhappy. Deshaun Watson wants out. Who saw any of this coming in week one of last season? Mm-hmm. Nobody saw any of this coming in week one of that 5 quarterbacks are going to be completely on different teams, basically.
Yep.
So don't tell me it can't happen, because it absolutely can happen. And I'm very passionate.
I also think that when we're talking about top tier available QBs, Kirk would qualify as a top tier QB available.
Yeah, just like he was.
That makes sense.
He was the top quarterback available when the Vikings signed him 3 years ago.
Watson is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I get that. But the next available pool of guys probably starts with Kirk, right? If Kirk is indeed available.
Mm-hmm. Whew. Wow. Buckle up, baby.
So he would be.
We had a month until the free agency window opens, too. There's going to be a lot of this stuff.
So write that down, Dex. Would be that a trade is agreed to by Monday.
I'm getting that point.
Done.
I'm getting that point.
Okay. All right. I'm trying to help.
Because I've been sabotaged.
We're not going to.
I mean, because it can't be official. I'm just saying.
If God is my witness, I will quit.
Okay, so you're going to give up your job.
Yeah.
Oh, then I'll push it. Then I'll push it.
Oh my God. Amazing.
You think you like football? Brett Favre doesn't just like football. He loves football.
All right, here we go. They're going to jump right here. You know they're going to jump. Everybody hold your water. Green right slot. 98 handoff slot on 3. Ready? Balls, balls, balls. Balls, balls, balls. Balls. Green 18. Green 18. 10. Hey.
Football! Football! Gotta eat.
Real quick, before we get into Mackey and Judd read the YouTube comment section, a quick shout out to our new friends at Whamatech. That's right. We've got a new partner here on Purple Daily.
Thank you, Whamatech.
And if you are listening to us or watching us on a broken down phone, a tablet, or a laptop, maybe it's time to get a new one. Maybe it's time to break down and this is the best part. You don't have to break the bank from a phone or tablet salary cap standpoint because Whamatech is a trusted supplier of pre-owned phones, tablets, and laptops. Wholesale prices also available when you purchase 10 or more devices. Plus, every device they sell is tech certified and comes with a warranty, meaning you're not buying a lemon. Whamatech is a local company here in Minnesota, and you can find their website and information at whamatech.com. That's WAMATEK.com. Also, thanks to our friends at Federated Mutual Insurance Company, they recently launched My Shield, the online client destination for risk management resources. As a business owner, think about how helpful it would be to have trusted resources and employee training at your fingertips, things that can help your business reach another level of success and peace of mind. Go to their website, federatedinsurance.com, click on My Shield, or download the app. And remember, at Federated, it's our business to protect yours. Let's dive into the YouTube comment section here, gentlemen.
This is the first time, right?
Well, we have. Have
we done this?
We have not done this before.
No.
It's so much fun. So just some backstory here. Judd and I have done a radio show together, for 7+ years. We've been much more active and aggressive in the podcast space over the years. And over the last year and a half or so, YouTube has become just a super fun place for Mackey and Judd on the Score North YouTube channel and Purple Daily. And so it seems like we've made friends with a lot of new listeners and viewers over the past 6 to 12 months.
I'll decide if they're our friends after you get done with the comments.
And on a daily basis, we just have a community of discussion every day in the YouTube comment sections. We'll start with John Q. John Q wants to know, is the guy on the top of the screen even old enough to drink Corona Hard Seltzer?
Good slam. Good slam.
It's not really a slam. Come on.
You look
12.
great, man.
I do. Sorry, I have these great genes and I take care of my skin. You know, I'm a young kid. I don't know.
What is your skin routine?
I have a hydrating cleanser I use in the shower.
Wow.
I use a moisturizer when I get out of the shower. I use a moisturizer at night. I used to use a toner. I liked my toner, but then it started making me break out, so I have to get a new toner.
Atta boy.
Bad for your skin?
But it's a little trial and error, and I highly recommend it. If you want to,
What's a toner?
It's like a liquid you put on like before you put on your moisturizer. It's like it kind of looks and feels like saline solution, like contact solution.
Yeah. Judd, what's
that.
your skincare routine?
What's your skincare routine, Judd?
Soap like this, and then you go like this.
No. That's not good.
It?
That's bad for your skin. Like a dial bar soap.
That's really bad.
No,
for your
That's
skin.
horrible for your
Hand
skin.
soap. No, like
Hand
soap.
Like no,
Dude, you can't
a
be putting
shower
hand soap on
a
that
shower
thing.
soap, a shower soap, like a body wash.
Oh man,
You stick it on your hands and you go. Ooh,
that's
like
gonna
that.
that's gonna
Oh,
dry it
yeah.
out really bad.
God,
You're gonna have a chapped forehead.
I'm gonna have to talk to Don.
I do have a chapped forehead, but that's
Yeah,
okay.
You gotta be careful
I'm
there.
gonna talk to Don.
Johnny says, think about this from the perspective of Zimmer and Spielman.
Mhm.
They know that a 7-9 season, all excuses aside, puts them on the hot seat. Now, in their eyes, they have a good chance at a playoff spot with Kirk. If they take a chance on a draft prospect or trade for someone else, those chances are possibly reduced. So to them, hey, let's keep Kirk and try to do what we can with him. And if we do pretty well this year with Kirk, then they can say, I told you so, and they're no longer on the hot seat. Your thoughts
And make the
on that logic?
playoffs.
Mhm.
I mean, that might be dead on. My problem is it gets me a year closer to death without a Super Bowl. That's my problem. See, this all depends on where do the Wilfs, like if the Wilfs are pleased with, we're going to the playoffs again. And now, and now we won 10 games, 11 games in your best year, probably 12. So the comment is probably exactly right. But what I'm saying is personally for me, I'm tired of that.
I am too. Like, I don't
That's
think
simple.
I don't think the goal should be. And by the way, I think Mike Zimmer wants to win a Super Bowl. I think Rick Spielman does too. I don't think this is what they're thinking.
But they're taking the pressure off.
It shouldn't
like,
be
I totally
like,
get what he's saying.
Let's get back to 10-6 and get in that wild card spot so the pressure is reduced on us getting fired. It's like, no, Super Bowl. Super Bowl should be the goal here.
Yes.
Even if there has to be a roundabout new 3-year plan. This is where, like, I think a lot of people feel like it has to always be linear. And the Steelers are a great example of this. They take steps back. The Steelers aren't sitting there saying, we got to fire Mike Tomlin's ass every time they go from like 11-5 back to 8-8 or something.
This league is ups and downs. No question about it.
I think the Vikings are a little bit more patient than that. They don't fire coaches every 2 seconds like the Browns. But if Zimmer and Spielman present a plan that says, listen, we might miss the playoffs again, but if we do this, this, and this over the next 2 years and drafts, we're in a great spot to capitalize.
Correct.
I would listen to that. If
Are you putting yourself in a position to open the window?
Yep.
Right? That's the most important thing.
Patrick comments here on the Purple Daily YouTube channel. I'm wearing a mock turtleneck. Felt like a solid pick. Your guys' thoughts on turtlenecks?
I'm not a turtleneck guy.
I have been at times. I'm not.
God.
I'm not now. I'm out on them.
There's turtleneck pictures.
Judd with the turtleneck and the chapped forehead look.
Too confining. Too confining to me. I just don't enjoy it.
Oh my God, I
kind of have a turtleneck. I have like a zip
My neck has to be free.
Today. Look at this thing.
My neck needs freedom, especially with his beard.
I can't do turtleneck.
Especially with his beard.
Like a small man
going right down the neck.
You need that neck beard to be flowing in the wind.
Small man trying to choke.
Yeah,
dude, you got problems.
Like myself. It's like myself.
Okay, go see someone right now.
There's therapy for people like you.
Well,
stop trying to choke me.
Yeah.
Let's see.
Sure, it's just a turtleneck.
Skull Nation says Judd has become the Derek Carr of write that down, just checking everything down. And then Patrick chimes in and says, personally, I'd like to see a once-a-month Hail Mary edition of Write That Down. 3 or 4 shots to the end zone by everybody. Judd's picks make me sad from his lack of intestinal fortitude.
Oh,
he's judging your manhood.
You know what? Skull, there's nothing wrong with Sam Bradford, okay? Sam Bradford, go Google his income, all right? The man made a lot of money and he checked down a lot.
With those weird, goofy sleeves.
And those weird
Sam
eyes.
Bradford, man.
Never blinked.
Never blinked and never wore elastic sleeves.
I'm not changing my Write That Downs.
I want to see Sam Bradford versus Tony Dungy in a Viking staring contest.
I would pay to watch
4
that,
weeks later,
honestly.
they're just...
We are forced to take home run swings on the old school one.
We'll do it.
So perhaps
we'll do it once a month. Yeah.
Touchdown pass. Yeah. Hail
so,
Marys.
So that's what's up in the YouTube comment section this week on Purple Daily. We do read them and we will bring them to the show on a weekly basis here. So we appreciate you guys. And that's a wrap on this episode of Purple Daily. We'll see you guys tomorrow. Mackey Judd Declan.